Well, welcome, and welcome to the Pragmatic Works studios here in Jacksonville, Florida area.
Hello.
I'm here with Andrew Perez. Andrew, great session today.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, and so we have questions coming in. So if you, this is a great Q&A time. This is live, of course. So if you have any questions, please do enter them now. We'll be drawing on a few of the good questions to win a great prize on the on-demand platform, a year subscription of on-demand platform, 3 of those. And I do see some stuff coming in already. Actually, the question I said would definitely come in has already come in here from Colleen. Okay. And that really comes down to, hey, you showed a lot of cool stuff, but what is really required from a licensing side to make this work?
Yeah, fantastic question. I went a little bit quickly through that in the beginning, but it's really that AI Builder prompt has probably the most fluid licensing of anything in the Power Platform. So down in the description of this event, there is a link to some Learn documentation that shows you how these AI Builder credits work. Basically, at the end of the day, this is logged with AI Builder credits that you get from Microsoft. They typically renew every month. And the way the credits sort of work is you could be, with some of the other Power Platform licenses that you have, entitled to have some of these credits already without buying anything extra. There are specific capacity add-ons that add tons of AI credits, but if you have, in fact I have it pulled up right here, if you have a Power Apps Premium license, you're entitled to 500 every month there. If you have a Power Automate Premium license, you're entitled to 5,000 every month. So again, that AI credits is the currency that you're going to be working with, and your licensing that you might already have probably entitles you to a little bit of that as well.
And it's cumulative also, right? So every license of Power Apps, you mentioned 500 credits per 500, that gets added up into the tenant. And then so if you're not using it and I could take your 500 potentially also.
Right.
It's up to the admin to assign those credits to the appropriate environment. And it's kind of like, for my office friends out there, it's kind of like Shroot Bucks, if you're curious. It's kind of like those imaginary kind of credits that are out there.
Yeah.
All right, well, great question there from Colleen. Now, where do you go to find your credit? You're going to find that in the Admin Center. You'll find that if you go to the Admin Center, you'll find there's an option there for under capacity, resources and capacities, where it used to be. You'll see how many credits are outstanding, and then you can assign those to different environments. You need a certain privilege to do that, though, so you'll need a higher level permission to actually go and assign those to, or see those also. All right, Andrew, you mentioned things like Power Automate. You spent most of your time Power Automate here today.
Right.
One of the questions we get asked frequently is, where else can I use this in the Power Platform?
Right, so this AI Builder works the same way that any other connector in the Power Platform does. It's a connector. It's a connector to some particular application. Connectors are typically used within Power Automate, but you can use them within Power Apps as well. Most people think of connectors in Power Apps as only being like connections to different databases, and that's not necessarily the case. You can absolutely use any Power Automate action directly in Power Apps, and here these custom prompts are no exception. If you are building out a Canvas app and you go over to your little data pane, you can look up your custom prompts, tie them to a button. The inputs that need to go into the prompt, you can have that pulled from something you're typing into the application, and you can design basically a Power Effects formula that takes you through the inputs and outputs of the action, so you don't even need Power Automate as your intermediary.
That's awesome, because I actually, the app that you showed in Power Automate for doing the translation, we did that right in app. So whenever a student was taking it, they would take a picture of their Spanish letter.
Right.
They would lift it out with Copilot, and some stuff around that, with AI Builder, excuse me, Force a Habit, and then it would then translate it all inside the app. So you would never even know that you were going outside the app in Power Automate. So actually, extra props here to Les, who actually gave Mary where you can find your own balance here. So
awesome.
Little extra credit here for Les. You get 10 extra Shroot Bucks today. So congratulations. Or that's actually roughly about 500,000 AI credits.
Right.
The other question here is, if you have a subscription to another AI engine, so for example, I might be using Cloud or DeepSeek or something like that. One of the questions is, can I use that instead? Now you may have noticed when Andrew had opened the prompt, it actually had a drop-down box on which AI model you want to use. So you
Right.
can actually point to things like AI Foundry to get very specialized models. And AI Foundry can point to about 10, 12,000 different models out there. So
You can utilize what you already have.
absolutely. All right, so let's go to another one here. We got a whole bunch of good ones coming in. Now, you were showing AI Builder with prompting the entire time. What other types of models are out there that we can use, or what does AI Builder have that may be additional?
Yeah, that was one I was waiting for. So AI Builder has a ton of different models. I say a ton, but it's really closer to like 20 or something, but that's still quite a bit. So there's a ton of different models for all sorts of different situations, whether it be document text extraction, sentiment analysis, and the models that are there typically require training from you. So you go in, you tell it what exactly you need it to do. Those are sort of better for like specified models. You know, if you have a very specific thing that you need this to perform every single time. For example, one of the options that we use in our Automation in a Day course, if anyone has ever taken one of those free workshops, is we do a document text extraction. Right? It looks through the document, it finds the necessary information, and it pulls it out. What we get with this generative prompting is a much more fluid version of that. So notice with only a couple of words, I was able to have it perform basically both text extraction and sentiment analysis together. It looked through the resume, found the things that it thought were pertinent, and then decided, whether or not it was a good fit for whatever field we had provided. So it's better for things that are going to be more free form. It's really up to your imagination what you can come up with that one. But if there's something that's maybe a little bit more critical, something that you need to be more specific on, that's where I would recommend looking into the other models that you can take the time to train and design at your leisure.
So AI Builder is really like a Swiss Army knife with the
pretty
prompting
much.
that is. So I've used it for like geocoding data, just to ask it, hey, I have an address and it's all one line, break that address up into its individual components, normalize it, and give me the geolocation of it.
Yeah.
And it just magically did it. No APIs required or any of that. So it's pretty awesome. Now you mentioned Power Automate there in one of the classes that we do. Michaela, I kind of teed up Michaela's question here.
Sure.
One of the content is geared towards beginners. That's probably the best one.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And if you were to, I would say,
Can you repeat the class again, though, just for
I would say for what we have done today, if you want to get like a foray and maybe come back around and rewatch it, I would say our Automation a Day workshop is very good. We also have an on-demand learning platform, of which Automation a Day is one of the free classes that we offer. In fact, are we able to maybe put that up here let's send that in?
Yeah, so for Michaela, there's a whole bunch of Power Platform classes that are at all levels, including beginners. There's a Power Automate beginners course out there. And then there's, of course, the Automation a Day. Andrew, you're doing one on AI Builder coming up here as well.
I am, yeah.
So we have a whole bunch of like dedicated AI Builder classes, a whole bunch of Copilot classes. There's hundreds of classes in there, Michaela. And for this month, until the end of September, there is a code out there. Now, for the one that Andrew mentioned at first there, the Automation a Day, that one's a free course. But if you want to get all hundreds of the courses, including learning paths and certification help, this code here will give you a good discount on that there. All right, thank you, Michaela. Let's see here. We also have an example of, this was from Funflix in Virginia. So this question was, you using like Office 365 data, could you use data outside of your tenant? Like it has to kind of somehow come from somewhere. Like, but if it's
right,
what else can we do there?
Right, and absolutely. Well, the AI prompt that I used again was very basic. I was using Microsoft 365 things as an example because I assume that if you've got Power Automate, you have the Microsoft 365 apps. But anywhere that Power Automate has a connection to, whether that be SQL Server, Salesforce, SAP ERP system, there are close to I think it's beyond that now. It's like 1,600 plus, close to 2,000. So it's getting, they always look for whatever applications are out there on the market seeing a lot of use, and they bring it in. Whatever those applications are, you can utilize content from those areas and run it through the same prompt, right? That prompt doesn't require any, particular special application to work with. It's just taking in inputs and putting out outputs. Those inputs can come from anything. So I saw a question also after we left, someone asking if we can use data from Dataverse. You absolutely can. Again, this is a Swiss Army knife, jack of all trades, apply to all situations.
Well, and this is a kind of leading to John's question here also, but it's a little different. I'm going to answer a different way here.
Sure.
This weekend, I was working with a different nonprofit, and they had huge gaps in their data. Like some nonprofits had a missing phone number, some had a missing Facebook address, and some had different hours of operation, and almost none of them had descriptions. So we wanted to clean up our data in Dataverse. It could be SharePoint, it could be wherever you want. So we pointed the flow to loop over all the records that were missing data, went to AI Builder, the prompt, go in, and it would be, for every record it said, go and research this organization, here's their web address, and go and fill in the gaps. So it basically filled the gaps in, and then we basically patched it. So it created a great data quality thing. So that data could be in SharePoint or in SQL Server. Could you use it to give a topic? That would be really interesting. That's actually what we did in this example was we were creating descriptions from it. But you can also say, hey, give me a 2-word topic for my SharePoint list based on the rows that you see here. You can absolutely do that, and it would integrate. What you can do is say basically on row creation, in that case, right, of a SharePoint list, go and update that same SharePoint list. So that'd be cool. All right, so we have we have a ton of good questions here. Yeah, so I think this is one of the most underutilized tools that Microsoft has, but can we use these prompts across multiple flows, though, for example? Like I might want to use it. Okay, so how might make sense there?
Yeah, if you recall in my demo at the beginning, and you guys may have seen it on your end as well, there were a couple of standard prompts that were already there that were other AI models that have been created and utilized. You will see your custom prompts also show up in that list. So if you go to the next flow, jump to the next flow to go ahead and pull it up, you can reuse the same prompt. Maybe I have, for that resume submission, I have one for myself so that I can see how I stack up against the industry I work for. But maybe I also happen to currently work in HR and I want one to intake the resumes that are coming in. Maybe we get like 1,000 job applicants every week or so, and so we want to intake it. I could reuse the same prompt to be able to do both of these different things.
Awesome. Now, we had a really important question here from Jeremy. What is my duper rating? This, for those who don't know, I'm just teasing. This is actually a pickleball term. Don't look it up, Jeremy. It's pretty sad right now because I just started monitoring that duper thing here with the tournament. So we won't go into that much. But question for you, actually just built a class on APIs recently in Power Automate. Can we bring data from our other apps, including maybe our own APIs, into this?
Absolutely, and in that's going to be coming out in the coming months. I just finished the recording of it yesterday, actually. But we're going to be having a class on making custom API calls in Power Automate. At the end of the day, every Power Automate action is an API call, right? It's a pretty looking UI for you to be able to design an API call. That's what's being passed through already. So if you have your own custom HTTP request that you're moving through, you can use the same data in the same prompts, and it'll still be able to recognize that.
Awesome. All right, so we have a few more here. Can this now if you are using environments inside a Power Platform, can I move these across multiple environments, or how would I do that?
Yes. So and I would kind of hope that you could, just because you might want to move something from dev to prod. That's general application lifecycle management. The way these prompts are moved, however, they do have to be part of a solution. So they are part of an overarching problem. For anyone who doesn't know what solutions may be, they're sort of like folders in the Power Platform that hold everything together. So we go into the solution, and you're going to hit Add Existing AI Model. You'll see your custom prompts are in there alongside any other AI Builder models that you may have created inside that environment. But that'll allow you to easily move it as easily as a flow or an application.
Awesome, and that's great for integration with things like Copilot Studio also. Right. You'll see those right inside of Copilot Studio. So we have a few more questions that are coming in. Holy cow, we got a lot of good stuff here. Let's go to this one here. So we mentioned the environment removing. Can we also, here we go. So why would I use one of these prompts versus just good old-fashioned Copilot chat?
Yeah. I can totally understand that, because you might, and to be fair, for a lot of people that may be, the free option. You go to ChatGPT or Copilot and you type in something or feed it something and allow it to see it. What this provides for you outside of a general, chat with an AI is the business integration side of this. I mean, going from like taking the data that Copilot gives, and let's say I wanted to write that to a source, right? I wanted to keep a record of something, like you were saying earlier, where it goes through the lines of data and it starts filling in the blanks there. That's something that a general ChatGPT or Copilot could not do. And so again, that business integration aspect, that is where this AI prompting would fit.
Awesome. We have some good stuff here. Thank you, Alice, also for encouraging us. Can I use Power Automate to send a particular file when asked through email? Now, this can be done a few ways, I think. Yes, it could be done in Power Automate, but this really feels like Red Viper. Am I reading it right? Yes, I am. My glasses are off right now. It really feels like a question for like an agent, right? Like a Copilot agent, where it's trying to read the intention of the email, checking to make sure they're on the white list of people that can get these files,
right?
And then potentially sending it. So it could be done in Power Automate through a trigger, probably.
Yeah. Well, and you can do it if you're going to base it off of like sentiment, right? Let's say an email is being sent, and based on the sentiment, they need to get a certain file, something along the lines of what Copilot did. It can be done with the AI prompting. So one of the things that I had to do for one of mine is, judge the sentiment, and based on the sentiment, assign a value, right? The value of 1, 2, 3, 4. If the sentiment is like, I don't know, happy, 1. If the sentiment is sad, 2. If the sentiment is urgent, 3, and then I can set a switch condition in Power Automate to check for that value and perform a separate action for each of these different things. So whatever outputs you retrieve are entirely up to you. They don't all have to be paragraphs the AI wrote. Maybe it can just make a decision by assigning values to certain things that it finds out.
Awesome. And one of the things you can do that Andrew did not show also, just bring out time, is you can also do things like bringing in extra data, like a Dataverse table. And so what you could do, Red Viper, is you can say, hey, based on what the customer is asking for, figure out what file should I send based on this list of files that I have in a Dataverse table. So it could absolutely do that also. Again, that can be done. It's more than one way to skin a cat here, but that's definitely one way you can do it. All right, I think we've gone through most of our questions here. We have some observations, some encouragement, but I think all in all, we look like we answered most of them now at this point.
Sweet.
Hey, so thank you so much for joining us today. We had some questions earlier also about, is this recorded? Of course, it's being recorded. This last session and this session are both recorded. Another question we typically get asked is, hey, I saw this as a premiere. Are we going back live? Well, we are going to have this studio is being built out around us right now. So we are going to start returning back to the completely online. We have a new studio now in a new office building. So we have much better internet now to do these live sessions. So we'll be living on the skin of our teeth here.
That'll be fun for sure.
Yeah, and we're going to do a bunch. My business partner Mitch and I are going to do a whole bunch of Copilot sessions coming up next month about chatting with your data. So reading from a data warehouse, asking questions from Copilot, and then returning a data aside. Don't forget, though, we do have a giveaway today, and we have our on-demand platform. You can find in the description of this in the chat window right now. You'll see there's a Build 25 that gives you 50% off on-demand platform. And Andrew, let's give away some winners here.
All right.
All right. So looks like William Garvey is our first winner here. So for William, what you want to do is, there we go. I'm going to pop it up here. Oh, wait, is that Nightbot? Okay, Nightbot is our guy here. All right, there we go. So if you're William Garvey, you want to go ahead and take a picture of your profile in YouTube, and then let us know. Send an email to marketing@pragmaticworks.com. Additional congratulations to Michaela. Michaela, you are also won a year subscription of on-demand learning. So great on that one as well. All right, well, folks, thank you so much for joining us today live in our studio, and we look forward to seeing you next month. We'll have a quick little video of what next month will cover in the next few seconds. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.